Hi everyone, I just wanted to jump on here and participate in the discussion post the first discussion, counseling and theories discussion. I wanted to give you my answers to those questions, and then I will try and post this once the week is over so that you hear what I have to say about that, and I'll try to do this weekly. Okay, so we were supposed to review chapter 1 of our textbook and prepare to share in discussion the following points. What is counseling? Discuss the role that personality, the counselor's personality, plays in counseling, and which theories seem most attractive to you and why. So you'll find the definition of counseling / psychotherapy. So one thing I do want to note is counseling and psychotherapy, those words are kind of used interchangeably. So you'll see both of them used in the textbook probably equally as much. So psychotherapy, according to Corey on page 7 of our textbook, says psychotherapy is a process of engagement between two people, both of whom are bound to change through the therapeutic venture. And at its best, this is a collaborative process that involves both the therapist and the client in co-constructing solutions to concerns. What I like about this definition is it says between two people, both of whom are bound to change through the therapeutic venture. That suggests that the therapist also changes through the therapeutic journey with that client. Now, as you can imagine, I, as a full-time counselor, can have up to 40, 50 active clients on my caseload at a time. So to think about each of those individual clients changing me in some way, I think is rather remarkable and absolutely true. I have learned so much from my clients, not just how to be a better therapist, but how to be a better person. There are things that they've taught me about their approaches to parenting, how to be in a healthy marriage. And then there are also, I see clients that are behaving badly in ways or making really bad decisions, and it helps me understand where I want my decision making to fall. So you get both spectrums there, but you learn a lot from your clients, and it's impossible not to change from those experiences. So I thought that was a really neat piece of a definition that was helpful to me. The role of personality and the counselor's role of personality. I think that this piece is so important to know and to have some recognition of yourself and like awareness of yourself going into being a therapist, but also continuing to learn about yourself while you're doing this job. Again, the Enneagram has been one of those really impactful ways that I've learned more about myself, as in recently within the last few years. So that I think has kind of even opened the door up a little bit more for me to develop the self-awareness that I need. But I think that it's important to also know yourself and know what you're affected by. I think when you recognize that you're being triggered by something, it's super important for you to know those pieces as well. I was underlining some things here, but I really liked what Corey said on page 8, the 3rd paragraph down, where he says, your personal characteristics are of primary importance in becoming a counselor, but it is not sufficient to be merely a good person with good intentions. I think that that's really important because there is a balance between personality and knowing the counseling theories and techniques that you'll learn in this course. But it also is, he mentions too, that you can't just go off of techniques and theories and expect to be a good therapist. He calls them technicians, which I think is a really good way to differentiate between a well-balanced counselor who is aware of their personality, aware of what they bring to the table as far as triggers as well as strengths, and knowledge of proper counseling theories and techniques. So there is a balance that needs to be present there. I also like what he says in the second paragraph on page 8, where he says, as a counselor, you need to remain open to your own personal development and to address your personal problems. The most powerful ways for you to teach your clients is by the behavior you model and by the ways you connect with them. I think this really hits on the idea of just being in your own personal growth journey. I literally have been in and out of counseling myself since my early 20s. I highly recommend all of you go through your own counseling journey, regardless of if you are severely mentally ill or not. I think we need to get rid of that idea that only the sick go to counseling, because it is not true at all. There's always something we can learn about ourselves. And I tell people a lot that we don't stop learning until we're dead. And so learning about ourselves is crucial to being a good therapist. And also, I think going to your own counseling gives you an idea of what that client experiences when they come here for the first time. So just keep those things in mind. And I would encourage you to look into your own therapy if you've not been through that process before. And even if you have been through that process before, it never hurts to go back for a tune-up. So keep those things in mind. What theories seem most attractive? So for me, I tend to gravitate towards the experiential and relationship-oriented therapies. So the existential therapy, person-centered, and Gestalt tend to be some of the techniques that I pull from are from those theories. I really do fall under the belief that the client knows they have everything inside of them to overcome whatever obstacle they're coming to me for. It's already there. It just needs to be uncovered. And so I really gravitate towards Carl Rogers and the person-centered therapies. I definitely pull from the systems and postmodern approaches. Obviously, I'm a woman. I work with all women as of right now, and so I definitely recognize the constraints that have been imposed, the gender roles, the identity development of women. I really agree with a lot of the feminist therapy approaches there. I think family systems therapy is something that you all should definitely make yourself knowledgeable of. It's a systemic approach, and it essentially says you can't look at the individual without also looking at all the people that they're in relationship with and especially their family. So it's kind of like if one part is broken, all of the other pieces are not functioning at their best either. If you envision, if you kind of take into mind like a car's engine, if there is a spark plug that is out, the whole engine is not going to function like it should, right? I don't know much about cars, so hopefully I have that analogy right, but essentially you get the point. So it's really crucial that you learn the systems approach as well. The cognitive behavioral approaches are absolutely included in my style. It's not that I don't use them. It's just that when my philosophical views come from more the experiential and the systems approaches. Cognitive behavioral therapy obviously is something that you will want to know and definitely familiarize yourself with the techniques and approaches of that theory, because it is widely used in the counseling field today. So the CBT approach focuses on behavior and changing behavior. So it definitely has a place in my technique as well. I really can't emphasize the importance of the clinical relationship, the relationship that you have with the client. I really think that without empathy, without unconditional positive regard, without compassion, without appropriate reflection to the client, without validation, without trust, all of those things, you have to have those things in order for any of this stuff to work. So it's important for you to know the theories and approaches, but it's so important for you to develop that relationship with the client. So I can't emphasize the importance of that enough. So hopefully you find this helpful. I will continue to try and do this with the discussion post so that you can hear kind of my perspectives on it, and hopefully you'll gain something from it.